Hey, what's up, Closer Nation? It's Ryan Stewman, and today I want to talk to you about some of the mental shifts that you've got to make going from just an entrepreneur to a business owner. Now listen, a lot of times people think those words are synonymous, entrepreneur and business owner. And while they are similar, they're not necessarily synonymous, right? Entrepreneur is actually the French root word for entrepreneur is a risk taker. So an entrepreneur is someone who goes out there and takes a risk. That could be a business owner, right? It could be an investor. You're an entrepreneur when you're taking a risk. You could be a venture capitalist. You're an entrepreneur, right? So you can be an entrepreneur and a business owner, but there's a big difference between the mindset of an entrepreneur and the mindset of a business owner. You see, if we go back to the root of the word entrepreneur being a risk taker, then the mindset of an entrepreneur is someone who's willing to take a risk. Oftentimes, the mindset of a business owner is someone who is mitigating risk while still implementing growth. So there is a big, vast difference in the mindset there. As an entrepreneur, oftentimes being a risk taker, we do stuff ourselves. I remember when I was just an entrepreneur, right? When that was like the title that I gave myself. And I created my first company, but I was just a self-employed entrepreneur. It was just me. I didn't have an assistant. I didn't have any backup people or any of that stuff. I remember when it was just me, I was willing to take big risk, right? That's what I did. I risked all my money on advertising campaigns. I would risk all my money on, speaking appearances and plane tickets to get to different places and booking out hotels for events. I would take these huge risks. And as I grew a network and turned into a business owner and have a board of directors that sit on the board of directors for my company. I have executives here, I have employees and all this other stuff. I have to start thinking about how can I still take a risk, but not as big a risk, how can I mitigate that risk? And as an entrepreneur, oftentimes we try to do stuff all by ourselves. And so I want to talk to you about the team that you need to have in place as an entrepreneur in order to make that shift to an entrepreneur that's a business owner, okay? Again, I'm still an entrepreneur at heart, still take risk. And I am a business owner of 9 independent businesses, right? Like real businesses, everything from asset management to software to consulting and so on and so forth, right? An advertising agency. I've got my hands in quite a few ventures because as an entrepreneur, I'm willing to take a risk in different ventures. But as a business owner, I know how to put standard operating procedures and things in place to make these businesses maximize the opportunity at hand. But there's 5 people that you need in your circle as an entrepreneur if you're ever going to truly evolve to being a business owner. But here's what happens. Most people avoid these 5 people because these 5 people cost money. But most people avoid putting these 5 people in their circle because they're scared to take the risk of spending the money. But also most people are scared to spend money on these 5 people because these are the people that legitimize your business. You can no longer just be like, well, I'm just an entrepreneur, I'm just a risk taker. Like once you have this in place, you become a legitimate business owner for the most part, all right? Number 1 is you need a CPA. Listen, if you own a business or if you're self-employed and you're doing your own taxes, that's just completely foolish. Unless you have some sort of tax lawyer tax license, tax degree, whatever the hell it is that you do taxes, you don't need to be doing that shit, okay? Listen, business owners don't do their own taxes. They outsource that stuff. And if you're a business owner that's doing your own taxes, you're crazy, right? You know who does my taxes? Qualified professionals. You know why? Because if they fuck up, I'll sue them, right? It's their job to know my stuff. It's my job to get them the financials. It's their job to minimize my tax exposure, and they have E&O, and I'm not saying that because I'm litigious or sue happy, but I don't know how taxes work, nor do I have time to learn them more than just the basics of what I do know. So it's their job to be experts there. I outsource that. Listen, I outsource my payroll too. I outsource my accounting, my tax preparation, and my payroll. If the IRS ever comes at me and says that I owe them money, it's one of those 3 people's faults. I'm not hiding any money anywhere. I've hired professionals that know what they're doing to cut checks to my employees, therefore collecting and distributing payroll taxes. I've hired a bookkeeper to track every credit card and every bank account that I have through QuickBooks that knows exactly where everything is. Between those two things, turning it over to a tax accounting firm to look at everything, shoot, all I got to do is go out there and earn the money, which is truly what a business owner should be doing anyway. A lot of entrepreneurs and even some of you smaller scale business owners are doing all this stuff yourself. You're writing your own checks and then you wonder why you get audited by the IRS. Look, the IRS can make sense and say, hey, listen, it's not perfect theory, but oftentimes the IRS says, look, somebody else is writing this guy's checks. Somebody else is doing this guy's taxes. Look, somebody else is doing this guy's bookkeeping. Surely they're not all in some sort of weird, like, avoid $100,000 from the IRS collusion, right? Like the IRS isn't dumb. They see that you've outsourced the stuff, you're probably operating correctly. So make sure that you get the right CPA in place. You shouldn't be doing your own books and everything else. You should let somebody else take that load up off you. And look, it's not expensive. If you need an accountant, you can call our friends over at Easy Accounting. Trevor Crowley or Cale Goodman would be more than happy to help you. Just tell them that you learned about them through me. They're not sponsors of this videos or anything like that. They're just people that I trust. The second thing is you need a lawyer, okay? And that's what you need. If you're going to be a business owner, it's a matter of time before you need a lawyer, so you might as well get one on retainer anyway. I keep a lawyer on retainer. I mostly retain him with big bottles of vodka, and he likes brisket, you know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, I keep a lawyer on retainer because just like today, I needed to draw a promissory note up between me and somebody that owed me some money. So instead of trying to figure that stuff out, how it's going to hold up in court and me write it, I just pay a lawyer a few $100. Actually, it's not even that much because they just outsource it to their paralegal, drop the promissory note, and spend about $85, which saves me a tremendous amount of time and puts me in the right legal standing and makes life a little bit easier. Also, every time I do a JV with somebody, I just send $2,500 off to a lawyer who creates the correct entity, whether it's an S Corp or an LLC or some sort of whatever the case is. Again, they're smarter than me. They went to school. That's what they do. And so what I've got is somebody on my team who knows how to do that stuff. I don't have to look up and draw contracts and everything else. I've got people who understand my business, who do that are there. You can go give a lawyer $2,500 to $5,000, and when you need them, they will draw from that retainer and they will drop any paperwork, documents, review stuff, look at whatever you need them to do, they will absolutely do it. The next thing you need is a mentor, okay? And mentors are huge. You got to have somebody who's living the life that you want, that can show you the steps and that's willing to help you and that's willing to get real with you. But here's the thing, I didn't say you need a friend. There's a big drastic difference between a friend and a mentor, right? A friend is someone that'll like pat you on the back and be a yes man. A mentor is someone who's going to have hard conversations with you when the time calls for it. And oftentimes it's going to get in your feelings, but when things get in your feelings, that's when you need it the most. So many people think that mentors should be free, and oftentimes they are not. Mentors are something that you pay for, either in sweat equity, doing something for them, i.e. like an apprentice or something of that nature, or you pay money for them like people do with us when they hire us as consultants and mentors through our Apex programs at Break Free Academy. And so, but you need a mentor in your life. You cannot go at it alone. You've got someone managing your finances, someone protecting your ass legally, and you need someone who can help you make the right decisions and give you a third-party outside perspective mentally as well. The next person that you need, there's 5, is the fourth person that you need is a financial advisor. Now listen, it doesn't necessarily have to be somebody who's like a registered agent or something of that nature, although those things help, but you can always find somebody who has a lot of money that knows what they're doing with money, or somebody who's an investor that's got some successful investments in a portfolio to back it up, or someone that has some sort of smarts that can give you financial advice. They can tell you where to put your money, because as a business owner, you're going to have a surplus of money. That's the whole point. That's called profit, right? So when you have a surplus of profit, you don't just sit on it, because cash in the bank's called useless, because cash is like an employee. If it's sitting in a bank, it's on break and it doesn't do you any good. Cash needs to be invested into things, working for you, making sure that it's earning cash on cash. One of my rules for money, my 21 rules for money, one of them, and my favorite one, is never work for the same dollar twice, right? If I've earned a dollar once through my primary job, it's been invested to work for me through a secondary investment. But you need a financial advisor, someone who can tell you what to do with that additional money, someone who can get you in on things where you can invest and make money early on. And oftentimes you might be thinking that you need millions of dollars to do that. It doesn't. Sometimes you can get in on perfect investments for as little as $10,000. But if you don't have a financial advisor, if you don't have somebody who's guiding you and helping you and mentoring you around your finances, you will never know things like that exist anyway. And lastly, you need a banker on your team. You need a person that, like right now, I can send an email to my banker and they will transfer money, wire money, have money sent to me, send it. They know me with a handshake. And it's not because I have billions of dollars in the bank account with them. It's not because I go in there and pester them or have a bunch of debt with them or anything else. It's that I've taken the time to create a relationship with the banker, right? The person that I go into that controls the banks, the deposits, the loans, and all that stuff. I have created a relationship with that person. I have their email. Oftentimes you go to the bank, the people give you your email. You don't think of nothing of it to email them, right? But I've created a relationship, so I've got a banker on my team. So if I've got a wire coming in, I can let them know to expect it. If I have something going out, I can let them know that it's legit. They can call me directly on my cell phone if they have questions about a transaction or a fee that's appeared up on my account, because I have that relationship. But think about that. That covers as an entrepreneur who's making the move into becoming a true business owner with a board of directors and everything else and employees. As an entrepreneur that's making that move, having a finance person, right? A CPA, right? A bookkeeper, CPA, whatever you want to call that person. Having somebody that's a legal advisor for you. Having a mentor that it's a mental, that's the root word of mentor anyway. It's a mental advisor for you, helping you keep your mind right and make good decisions. That's what a mentor does. Next, being a financial advisor. And the next person being a banker. You get those 5 people in your circle, then you've created a solid foundation of people who are advising you and putting you in the right direction. And that's how you start the level up process between entrepreneur to business owner, because you've got the right group of people around you. When it comes to number 3 and needing a mentor, that's what I do. If you're looking for someone to advise you, someone to help you grow and scale your business, someone to keep you in the game mentally, not just tell you how to market, not just teach you how to sales, but give you the mentality it takes to break through the setbacks, to beat up the problems, and to always focus on solving the problems that come your way and never focus on the actual problems. If you want somebody who's been there, done that, overcome it, and beat it, I'm your guy. You can go to Join the Apex, jointheapex.com, and apply. Other than that, make sure you surround yourself with these 5 people. If not me, it's got to be somebody. I recommend Easier Accounting for the CPA firm, the Potts Law firm, Micah Dortch for a lawyer, me for a mentor, obviously. Financial advisors, you're on your own there. And bankers, you got to go find somebody local in your market there as well. So if you know somebody needs to hear this, share it with them. Catch you on the next video.